Rafael Devers just hit his second home run while I'm recording this, and Nick Yorke is now one step closer to the major leagues. It's a good day for Red Sox fans. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and the Boston Red Sox have really been shuffling up their minor league system over the last couple of days. We've seen some pretty intriguing promotions from a lot of really interesting prospects, but the most recent one may be the most exciting, quite possibly, of them all, and that is the Red Sox promoting number 11 prospect Nick Yorke one step closer to Major League Baseball. So what we are going to do in the second video of the day is break this down. We're going to talk about why he got promoted, what this means for Nick Yorke's trajectory to Major League Baseball, and how all of this affects the 2024 Red Sox. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. It just helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Honestly, I think we've been waiting for a pretty decent amount of time here for Nick Yorke to get this promotion to AAA, especially after he sort of revived himself last year with the Portland Sea Dogs. It was a bit of a struggle for him in 2022, and he fell off a little bit in terms of prospect rankings. 2023 was an entirely different story. Last year, he played a full season in AA with the Sea Dogs, 110 games, where he hit .268 with a .350 on base percentage and a .435 slug with 13 home runs, 25 doubles, and 5 triples, which was good for a 116 WRC+, about 16% better than the average AA hitter during the course of the 2023 season. He also, last year in 2023, improved his production by 36% compared to 2022. Basically, what he did in 23 was get back to the player we all knew and expected Nick Yorke to be in the batter's box. This season also led a lot of fans to believe that he would at the bare minimum very quickly make his way up to AAA. I think there was some surprise when the Red Sox decided to start him at AA this season, but get up to AAA quickly he did, because the reason we're making this video is just a couple of hours ago, the Red Sox announced that they will be promoting the Red Sox number 11 prospect, the number 1 first-round draft pick in 2020 up to AAA, now just one step closer to Major League Baseball. Now, the big question is why? Why did the Red Sox decide to promote him now? Well, first thing we look at is his statistics. Right now, he's been all right in AA this season. It's been about average in terms of slash line. He has a .251 average in 45 games with the Sea Dogs this year, which is also good for a .325 on base percentage and a .366 slug, all good for a 98 WRC+, about 2% below league average production. So he's been a tiny bit worse at the plate in terms of production than the average hitter in AA baseball, but he's right around that production mark. In large part, the reason why his WRC+ has dropped a little bit this season is because we aren't seeing the same power numbers that we saw from Nick Yorke in 2023, but that doesn't mean he hasn't still been productive, and that doesn't mean there isn't still reasons why the Red Sox decided to call him up when they did. I think a big reason why he got promoted is because he looks a lot better when you dive into the deeper metrics than his slash line. For starters, he is still taking his walks. Last year, he was walking at a rate about 10.1%, which was much higher than what he was doing in 22. He's sticking right around that mark in 24. He has a 9% strikeout rate, which again is just 1% lower than he was last year, but what he's really done well so far this season in Portland is cut down on his strikeouts. His strikeout rate this season is at 18.3%. One, that's a really great strikeout rate in general, despite who you're talking about, right? He's striking out less than 20% of the time. That's a lot of baseballs getting put in play. But two, it's also 6% less than he was striking out last year. He's making a ton of contact right now. It's just not falling down as much as it was last season. He has also really improved his line drive swing. He's cut down on his ground balls by a little bit, and right now 25% of the contact he is making is for a line drive. That is 5% more than he was getting last year, and the highest line drive percentage of his career since he was an A-ball back in 2021. On top of that, he's driving the ball to the opposite field 5% more than he was last year, and driving the ball back up the middle about 2% more than he was last year. Basically, what I'm saying is if you just just take a look strictly at his stat line statistics, his on-base percentage, slugging, all that good stuff, there might not be a super standout reason why Nick Yorke was promoted at the time he was. But if you dive a little bit deeper into what these statistics are telling you, it's telling you, hey, Nick Yorke is making more contact than he has since 2021. He's hitting the ball in the air more times than he has since 2021. He is making more contact, harder contact. It just isn't resulting in the way that you would like, and that's a really good sign. Basically, what I'm saying is he's just been a little unlucky in AA to start the season, and there's a lot of really good things to pull from this, and in my opinion, that's probably one of the bigger reasons why the Boston Red Sox decided to promote him when they did. Now, obviously, what we see in terms of statistics are just sort of the tip of the iceberg compared to what the major league team is seeing or the front office regime is seeing on paper, right? They have a bunch more statistics than we do, but this is just a little glimpse into why they may have promoted Nick Yorke. Now, the second question here, or really the next two questions here are, what does this mean for Nick Yorke's timeline? When could he get to Major League Baseball? And what does this mean for not only the 2024 Red Sox, but for the Red Sox going forward? In terms of what this means for Nick Yorke specifically, right now he's projected, according to Sox prospects, to be brought up to Major League Baseball sometime midway through 2025. And I do think that this promotion shortened that timeline a little bit. To what degree it shortens it, I'm not entirely sure. A lot of that is going to depend on, can he maintain this same plate approach that he's really improved so far this year, and can that contact he's making start to result in more statistical evidence that he is hitting the ball harder, right? Because right now, it's, yeah, his outlying metrics are fantastic, but can he put it together in game and start producing a bit more at the plate than he's been doing so far in AA? If he could do both of those things at the AAA level, yeah, I absolutely believe this shortens his timeline a bit. Now, that doesn't exactly mean that he's going to be coming up in the next 2 months or anything crazy like that, but if he continues to hit the way he's hitting as we get closer towards September here and the Red Sox start looking at their depth pieces, the Nick Yorke could be on the short list to get up here, and I do think this shortens his timeline a little bit. I also think it more realistically changes that timeline until he's up here on more a full-time basis from mid-2025 to early 2025. So obviously, being promoted, great news for Nick Yorke, especially when you put in work like he has over the past year, 2 years. To be rewarded for that has to always feel absolutely fantastic. The other thing that could help him get up to Major League Baseball here is the versatility he's added defensively. There wasn't really a specific spot for him to sit on this team, and having only being a second baseman, but over this last year, he started to work himself into the outfield a little more, playing double-digit games in left field for the Portland Sea Dogs, and if he can continue to add some versatility to his game defensively, it becomes a whole lot easier for him to get up to this next level. Now, in terms of what this means for the Boston Red Sox, like we talked about with Matthew Lugo, it creates another really interesting situation because just like Matthew Lugo, Nick Yorke is also going to be Rule 5 eligible at the end of this season, meaning the Red Sox, just like with Lugo, have until December of this year to come up with 3 options. They can either 1, trade Nick Yorke, 2, add him to the 40-man roster to protect him, or 3, take their chances in the Rule 5 draft and see if he ends up with this team. Having him produce the way he has and earn the promotion that he did is certainly a good thing for the Red Sox because it not only allows them to get a clearer picture as to what Nick Yorke could possibly look like at the major league level. Obviously, it's pretty hard to even remotely figure out what he's going to look like at the big league level until he gets to the big league level, but getting into AAA allows them to get a bit of a more rounded picture of what that could possibly look like, which will give them a bit of an easier path to a decision as to what they're going to do with him at the end of the year if they don't decide to keep him. However, the other thing this does for the Red Sox is, again, going back to what we talked about with Matthew Lugo, when we said that over the past couple of years or so, I would even say specifically over the last year, a big conversation has popped up about what the Red Sox are going to do now that a lot of their top prospects are hitting from the left-hand side, combined with a lot of their big-time players at the major league level also hitting from the left-hand side. There was concerns about what the versatility of this lineup is going to look like in the next couple of years. Nick Yorke is another example of some of these sort of under-the-radar prospects that hit from the right-hand side who could absolutely improve that versatility. Him, Lugo, those are two promotions that happened in just the last week, and those are guys from the right-hand side who could provide contact, power, and production, but they also add themselves to a list of other potential intriguing prospects that hit from the right-hand side at the AAA level. Chase Meidroth, Nick Sogard, guys like that are at the AAA level right now, hitting themselves into a possible position on the Boston Red Sox. So what this does is not only give the Red Sox a clearer picture of who Nick Yorke could possibly be, it also gives you hope as to what the versatility surrounding the Red Sox could look like over the next couple of years. And I think for Nick Yorke specifically, this is absolutely fantastic. We talked about why it is a little bit already, but I just want to say, for a guy who was drafted during the COVID year, for a guy who had a weird upbringing into the minor league system, for a guy who's gone through his ups and downs during his time in minor league baseball, over the 4 years he's played in minor league baseball, to see his hard work pay off and get just that more close to Major League Baseball, to me, is absolutely fantastic. Nick Yorke has always been one of my favorite prospects since the moment he was drafted. I love his hit tool. I love his personality. I love his work ethic. I think this dude could be a real star in Major League Baseball. My question has always been, can the Red Sox find a place for him? I'm hoping this versatility allows them the opportunity to hang on to him and fit him in somewhere in this lineup, but that's a conversation for another day. For now, we enjoy the fact that a Red Sox player is now one step closer to Major League Baseball, and I say this every single video, but I just want to reiterate this a little bit. Every time one of these bigger name guys gets promoted up here to AAA or even AA, it gives you a little bit of hope, right? You see the young players developing on the Red Sox now, and you're like, man, this could be a fun team here soon. Then you take a look at all of the guys taking steps forward in the Red Sox minor league system, and it gets you even more excited. But that's just my opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below. One, what do you think of Nick Yorke getting promoted to AAA? And two, what do you think this means for the Red Sox system as a whole? Let me know all your thoughts on Nick Yorke getting promoted in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. Just helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way you can let me know that you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.